Now, before we jump into the video, I just wanted to let you all know that our very own Alexa Lowe has a brand new variant cover for the Sugar Pop vs. Zombie Tramp campaign. It is absolutely gorgeous and available now on Kickstarter. We also have a cover available in the new La Muerta vs. Lady Death campaign. I drew this one and she colored it. It is also available now on Kickstarter. Hey, what's up everybody? Izik Bell here, and today I'm working on shipping out a comic that I made with my very own two hands with a whole lot of help from Alexa Lowe and our team. And I am currently finishing up fulfilling the Kickstarter we did for it way back when. And the reality is this fulfillment should have been finished months ago. But as I have learned in these past 4 years or so that I've been kickstarting and producing my own comics, just about anything can happen in the production phase. And all your best laid plans can easily be thrown off course with the drop of a hat. Case in point, after all the work that went into meticulously crafting this comic, all the layouts and the roughs and the scripts and the inking and the plotting and etc., we sent our files off to our printer, dropped a good $7,000 on the order, and then when our comic showed up, they were completely unprotected. This company went so far as to rubber band our comics together. If you know anything about comic books, hearing this is probably hurting your soul. I mean, imagine putting all of this insane work and effort into this project, dropping all this money on it, and then this company treats your precious comics like they were a bunch of pamphlets or takeout menus. And it's not like we have a team to deal with this kind of thing. It's just me and Alexa thinking that we're finally gonna be able to fulfill our big Kickstarter project that we worked so hard on, that we're so proud of, and then our comics show up completely damaged. I can't even begin to describe how stressful that was. First, we let them know, hey, this is a problem, we need a refund, and their response was, well, actually, you know, if you got your comics laminated, they wouldn't be messed up.
Would you like your comics to be laminated?
And of course we said, heck no, we don't want our comic books to be laminated, and no, that isn't actually a thing.
So let's not pretend that it is.
And basically they knew that they effed up and had to make things right or suffer a better Business Bureau rating. They did make everything right. I mean, they couldn't pay us back for our lost time or stress, but you know, they were very cool and they did give us our money. I'm not mad at them at all. And I do feel that people could use this company and they'd be all right. And the company's name was Mix'em. I would say if you do plan to work with Mix'em, to talk to them up front about your concern for the shipping. Make sure that you let them know those comics need to be shipped safely and that you will not accept damaged comics. But as incredibly stressful as all that was, it wasn't even the worst experience we've had in crowdfunding. No, that honor goes to the whole debacle that happened right after our very first Kickstarter campaign. We ran our first Kickstarter campaign way back in like 2020. We had no idea what to expect. That campaign ended up blowing up, and we got a lot of attention from that, including an offer from a publisher. So basically what happened was this lady contacted us through Kickstarter. She said that she worked for a publisher. She seemed pretty cool, actually. It was her dad that ran the publishing company, but she was really cool, and she hit us up and like, hey, your stuff looks awesome. We're looking to publish new material like that. What do you think? And the reality is, the last thing we really needed at that point was a publishing deal. Like, we needed to focus on getting our shit together first. You know, we had just raised damn near $40,000 for our comic. The smart thing to do at that point would be to get on top of the printing and fulfillment. Fulfill that first book, you know, let people know we're not messing around, we're gonna get our book to you on time. But of course, for me, it was like, hey, this publisher is just going to make all of that easier and more attainable, right? I mean, they're gonna have all the connections, they're gonna have all the experience, they're gonna be able to streamline this whole process, and just make it all better. But if I'm being honest, I think that a lot of my attraction to this publishing deal was just ego. Like, I imagined me telling my friends like, oh yes, did you hear I
Got a new publishing deal?
while I stick my pinky out drinking my seltzer water, or, you know, whatever fancy people drink. Yes, yes.
Metal Shade is being published by
A publisher?
a real publishing house is what I'm saying.
You know, it's all very sophisticated.
I hope you can all see how special I am now.
I just couldn't wait to lord it over everyone. But as our campaign came to a close, the world was about to go through some changes. COVID was popping up in the States, and we're actually pretty lucky that we did our campaign right before it really started blowing up in the States, because those were some extremely uncertain times. Like, no one knew what was going on. People were scared. We didn't know what was going to happen with the industry and these markets and all of this stuff. It was stressful.
But at least we had our publishing deal.
I am getting a little ahead of myself. Before we got to this point, I had spoken with this lady's father, who owns this publishing company that we're not going to name. And this guy has his charms for about 5 minutes, and after that he turns into a massive energy vampire. He's the kind of person who will talk at you for hours, never pausing for you to interject or even for him to take a breath of air, seemingly. And this guy, he loved to talk on the phone, so he would call me, which is kind of a nightmare in the first place, because I actually don't talk to anybody. And it's not because I'm antisocial or anything. Maybe it is. It's mostly just because I'm extremely introverted. So having this guy that would call me every week and talk at me for at least 2 hours every single time was pretty horrible. I absolutely hated it. And he would always tell me like the same 5 stories. One of them was about how he had submitted this comic for Free Comic Book Day, and it was rejected, and he was very upset about that because it was a great comic and everyone should have really wanted that one. I mean, this guy, he's a lawyer. He's like, I think he's kind of wealthy on his own in this publishing company. I think he was just like a comic fan back in the day, and this is his kind of like hobby or whatever, publishing old classic comics that he loves. That's mostly what they do. The comic he submitted was some like really old comic that probably nobody actually wants to read but him. Then he would always tell me about how connected he was. He's like the most connected guy in comic. Like, everything that we could ever want was gonna be at our fingertips because we have a connection with him now. He would always talk about his printers and how he's with Transcontinental Interglobe. It's a very fancy sounding name. Very impressive, sir. And he would always tell me about how skinny he was. He'd be like, yeah, Izik, I am so skinny, man. I mean, I don't think I am,
But I am.
like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? So that's kind of what my relationship with him was like. So when our campaign closed out and then COVID started popping off, and every single time that we would talk, he would always tell me he was gonna send me the contract, he was gonna mail me some paper stock samples, all the stock samples they had, and that he was gonna send the printing quote. Every time we talked, the conversation would end with him telling me he was gonna send me this stuff, and he would never send it. So when our campaign closed out, and now COVID is starting to pop off, the world is changing in weird ways, everything is very uncertain, and we're not hearing back from them. And we're like, do we have this deal or not? Like, are you going to send the contract? And so finally, you know, I just emailed them like, hey guys, this is extremely stressful. We're like in limbo here. We're not getting the word from you. You're saying that you want to sign us, but we're not getting the contract. Like, what the heck? And so finally they did. They sent the contract over. And again, a lot of this appeal of why I'm going for this publishing deal, like, yes, a publishing deal can be a good thing, but in the back of my head, I'm like, just realizing that I'm that small artist who's dealing with some business person who understands the game and might have incentives to take advantage of me. And Alexa was over there kind of side-eyeing me the whole time, but I was like,
Gotta get this publishing deal.
think how cool people will think we are when we have a publishing deal. Oh man, yeah, so that all went over really well. Basically what happened after that, once we were locked into that contract, everything slowed down. except for the phone calls, of course. Every week I gotta talk to this guy and listen to his same 5 stories, then listen to him tell me how he's gonna send me a print quote and some stock samples, but they never come. And this goes on for about 4 months. And remember, we have like 750 backers waiting for us to send the comics that we promised them. We're basically just sitting on our hands waiting for our illustrious publisher to actually do what they say they're gonna do. And it was around this time that finally the bombs really dropped. In one of these excruciating phone meetings, the guy tells me that it's going to cost $20,000 for shipping.
$20,000.
Now, before we had gotten this offer, we had already done our research and found a printing company that we wanted to work with, and we had already gotten a quote from them, and it was around $5,000. And I can say now that I've been through this process 4 times, we printed 4 books at this point, never have we had to spend anywhere near $20,000 on a print run. And maybe he was totally on the up and up, like maybe I got it wrong. Maybe in this business, the bigger you get, the more connections you have, the shittier your printing quotes will be. I'm not sure. I've never printed with transcontinental interglow, so I don't know. Maybe that's how it works. But to us, we were like, this guy is trying to scam us. He's just like, he doesn't care about our comic. He just saw the money we raised and he's trying to take it from us. So now I'm really kind of freaked out. But remember, the person who contacted us first was actually this guy's daughter, and she seemed very cool. So I sent her an email and I was like, look, this is not what we had in mind. We can't afford to give you $20,000 for printing. How about this? What if we take care of the Kickstarter side of things? We'll pay for our own print run to take care of our backers, and then you deal with us as just like a straight publisher. You publish our stuff, take your percent, and if it sells well, we'll continue it. I was like, I know this can work, like, please just talk to your dad. But that turned out to be a big mistake. I don't know if this lady just told her dad right away, or if he actually is such a malignant narcissist, which he is, and control freak that he monitors all the business emails. Very, very possible. I have no idea. But the next communication I heard was from him, and he was pissed. And the first thing he told me was that I was not a man of my word. After 4 months of listening to him tell me he was gonna do things and then him not doing them, he's gonna tell me I'm not a man of my word. I don't wanna give him $20,000 for a print run. But luckily, this guy's ego is massive, and he took my email as a massive insult. So basically from there, he was like, him really like putting me down, insulting me. I'm a bad person, so he doesn't wanna work with me. And he canceled our contract, like, thank God. And he sent it in writing and everything. He was bowing out of this contract or whatever it was. He sent me this very long email, like just basically telling me what a terrible piece of garbage I am. And he also said that I can't share that email with anyone because then they'll sue me. He threatened to sue me a few times, actually. That's the thing, when you are a narcissist, you have that big of an ego, you can't handle even like a little jab. So I made fun of him a little bit. I told him that he was just mad all the time for no reason. And he told me it wasn't anger, it was righteous indignation. And so at that point, we were free from our contract, and we had to start the printing process, you know, a good 4 months late. But we did what we had to do. It took us a while to get our print run, but that's what we did. And we waited, and we just kept our people updated and let them know what was happening. And when the comics came in, everyone was very happy. But I remember, like, during that time when we were waiting, just waiting for our comics, I would literally dream that people would show up to my house asking where their Kickstarter order was. Like, that's how much it weighed on me. It was incredibly stressful. That's about it for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you again real soon in the next video.